When people are released from jail, they have the responsibility to appear in court. But some of these people choose to go on the run.
They go back home to mommy.
And that is when these guys come into the picture. So sit back and listen to the Off the Hook podcast with Chad and Rob.
Very fine people on both sides.
On both sides, baby.
These are real stories, but the names have been changed.
What's going on, guys? Rob here.
I'm Chad, and what's up?
Hey, look who we got next to us.
Mr. McGee.
Mr. Jimmy McGee. He's a really good attorney here in town.
Yes, he is. He's our DWI go-to guy.
All right. So,
thank you for having us.
Oh, absolutely. We love you.
Glad you could be here.
All right. So we know it's Christmas time. Merry Christmas, everybody, because we say Merry Christmas here.
Time.
Sir.
So, all right. So, one, I called you yesterday and told you about a crazy story I had over the weekend, and you didn't answer, but you called me back. You're like, "Hey, I'm leaving Mike's farm."
Yeah, we're doing the Mike's farm.
How
thing.
was Mike's farm, bro?
That's really cool. Gets you in the spirit.
I have not
If you
been.
haven't ever been, if you guys haven't checked it out, it's a good. They've got a real good patriotic hayride at the end of it after you have dinner.
Right.
They have a show, and if you want to go to that, and then some shops and stuff like that. But it's just a good Christmas atmosphere.
Man, I really want to go. I've never been.
Yeah.
I keep saying I'm going to go.
And it was cold.
Have you ever been?
My wife and kids have. I missed that trip, but this year we went to Johnson's Nursery, which was a great place.
Yeah?
Where's that at?
In Willard, right off. So you go up 40, and you just take the exit to Willard, and he's right off the highway.
Okay.
Great show. You actually throw snowballs at elves, and you do a hayride.
Oh, right on.
And they have s'mores pit. They have beer and wine out there, and food. They do wood.
I can see Jimmy out there giving cards out here.
It was a great place, and I highly recommend.
All right,
it to go
Willard.
out there.
Okay,
Man, we got to try that, man. Hell, I'm like behind here. Of course, my kids are all grown now. My two boys are grown, and yours is getting
They're
getting there.
They're getting there.
And yours gotten big. Last time I was in court for something, and you came in with your boy.
Mine are 10 and 7, 5th and 1st grade, but they're really into the spirit. We have an elf. This morning we woke up, and they went to find the elf, and he had his arms through a piece of toast, and it says it's cold outside, but it's toasty in here.
Who came up with that one?
Man, I tell you. So there's some good stuff out there. We have fun at Christmas time.
Cool.
Cool. All right, so let's get into some top news here. So I'm gonna start off by the Australia shooting.
Oh yeah.
The Australia shooting. Okay, so this is crazy and it's horrible. Nobody wants to see it happen.
I think everybody's seen the video of the guy jumping on the guy that has the rifle.
Yeah, and then on top of it, I saw this morning. Oops, sorry, I don't know who that is.
You broke the rule, dude.
Oh, I know. Hey, I'll call you back later. All right. So I was reading this morning where Australia come out and said, "Hey, we're going to have stricter
gun laws
than
now. You already have."
And I was like, "Hold on, you already banned guns in Australia.
Yeah.
How are you going to make anything more stricter? I don't understand."
Yeah,
it.
I mean, our buddy down the street here, our Australian friend, he comes down.
Yeah.
He talks about his mates back home, and he says they have to bury their guns.
Yeah,
they'll put them in tubes or something and bury them underground, and that's how they conceal
Well,
them.
it's unfortunate, and I believe that the Islamic terror stuff, it's just coming to light now, and it's horrible. People are dying. Like, you can't figure this out, man.
So that was all over a Jewish thing, right?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Well, I had a professor in law school that would always say, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Right,
and he would say that. I heard it once a month, and it is true. I think it doesn't matter what the laws are. If you have somebody that has mental health issues, there can be problems.
That's right.
And mental health is one of the biggest issues. Is the biggest issue in America now.
England doesn't have guns, but they'll kill you with a knife.
Right, in a heartbeat. And there was another one you brought up, another shooting you brought up to me.
Oh, Brown University. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Well, I did a comparative law class out in Scotland. I went and we did criminal law, and they had more violent robberies, things like that with knives. And I think one of the issues that you probably had were people think if a guy has a knife, I can maybe defend myself and I can, they're not going to get my wallet. But some of the crimes were just really vicious. People were attacked and, stabbings, and they had a lot of problems with that. But I don't know what the solution is. I think more money at mental health probably is what I would agree with.
Right.
And that's the problem in Wilmington. We've got a lot of people walking around here, and we do not have the facilities out there for them. And we're just feeding them, not taking care of them. As far as
look, there's one guy here. He's out here screaming.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he ain't bothered nobody, but he screamed like he was screaming the other day. But he's always out there reading the Bible, which. Then again, I'm like, all right, so it's not a bad thing he's doing that, but he's is kind of being.
He'll stay there for hours and hours and get loud. We have one lady that sleeps in the as you come into the office off to the side here.
Yeah,
she wasn't there this morning, but it was really cold last night.
Yeah, I really feel for them. That's one thing I was thinking about when I was driving downtown today is, where are some of these folks that are regulars we see on the street every day down here downtown each week, and really feel for them, and I hope that there's some help this way, coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, 1 second, Jimmy, you had mentioned something about, knives, and isn't in North Carolina, at least, the equal force, if someone pulls a knife on you,
stand your ground.
You have the right to pull a gun if they pull a knife on you?
I'm not totally correct on that, but that would, I do more driving along. That would be a Josh question. Josh in my office handles more of the
he's a young guy.
Violent. Josh is great. He's gung ho. He's winning cases out there, and he really cares about people. And he is doing a lot of our felony stuff, our drug stuff, and all the assaults this time of year. A lot of people spend a lot of time with each other, and you have domestic boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, whatever. And we get a phone call.
We gotta have Josh. We gotta have Josh on the podcast. He's a great guy. I like him.
Okay,
he's new. Like, he's called me and go, "Hey man, what can you do? What can I?" And I'm like, and I'll help him. I'll tell him, "Hey, this is what I can do," or "Hey, it's not going to be worth it." I'm trying to help the office out as much as possible.
Right.
And man, I love having that working relationship with you.
No. And thank you guys. Anything he can learn, but he really is doing a great job. And the clients like him because they know he cares. He puts himself in a position as if he's charged with the crime. I've always taught him that. And that's what I've always tried to do is take it like it was my case or my mom's case, dad's case, What are you going to do? You're not going to leave them hanging. You're going to do the best you can for them. That's what you need to do.
There you go.
Well, all right. So we're going to come back to Josh in your office. But so the second thing I wanted to bring up was Venezuela. I've been talking about this every week. I've had to.
Okay.
All right. So I've been studying hard. Dude, this is like, I don't know why it's grabbed my attention, but it's interesting to me because you just see how governments work and how the world's going right now, So, of course, we've been down there, standoff with Maduro, the whole nine. So did you know that there was a presidential election in Venezuela before we got down there?
Did not know that.
And the woman that ran legitimately won the presidency, right? Well, Maduro said, "No, I'm not stepping down. This is my government." A dictator, right? Now, hey, all you damn Trump haters out there, this is what a dictator is. Okay, so he doesn't step down, and she's afraid for her life. So the U.S. goes into Venezuela, gets her, sneaks her out through 10. This is what's been reported through 10 military security checkpoints. How do you get her through 10 unless the people there, the military, is helping us? So I think the people there do not want him, majority of, and everything you're seeing him dancing on TV and saying no war, whatever. I think it's all bullshit. It's all front.
No war.
Well, I think you see some things. I've traveled a lot to Central America. One of my hobbies was surfing, and over the years I've always gone, and I really like the people down in Central America. And one of my friends, he was a retired lawyer, and he retired down in Panama, but we go to his place in Panama. They had John F. Kennedy Elementary School down. And the people loved Americans because Noriega, when he was in power, would send the soldiers, and the soldiers could just come into your house, do whatever they wanted, and come over there, and they were messing with people's wives, everything. It was really a bad situation. When the U.S. helped out Panama, got rid of Noriega, who was a drug
Another dictator.
Dictator. Drugs were, he was running drugs and other things there. And I think there is a similar situation that we're kind of finding out about, and it's coming to light. And I hope we do get get more.
So
gist of that.
we seized the oil tanker off their coast that was leaving Venezuela, right? So it was going to Iran, selling Iran sanctioned oil. Wow. Now the oil in Venezuela is different than the oil in Iran. The oil in Venezuela, Central America, is thicker, so it's used to make diesel fuel. What fuels everybody's military? Diesel fuel. So of course they sent. Oh, dude. So I'm kind of like, I like this part, but how they seized it, as they used like the Coast Guard Special Forces, because Robbie's going into the Coast Guard.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, this is cool, and I had to show them because I was like, hey man, you're going into this. So it's cool. So they're the ones who took the tanker over.
Wow.
And it was going to Iran. Now, Russia has also tried to send cargo ships into Venezuela to bring supplies to them, and they have been turned around multiple times. So they're cutting the lifeline off to Venezuela.
I've seen a lot of pictures in the intercoastal that people are posting on Facebook of some of these more amphibious boats I didn't know we had. And I think a lot of that, they're training and all that for an exercise possibly in Venezuela, but that we have created a bunch of equipment that we've never seen.
Yeah.
And us being near Camp Lejeune and all that, I think, it's we're going to see a lot of neat things come to light as far as equipment that the U.S. has. And it'll be interesting to see.
I do know that Camp May just got like a $50 million upgrade.
Wow.
That's where boot camp is for the Coast Guard. So when Robbie goes through it in another year and a half, he's going to go through the new part of it, which is going to be cool. It's going to be interesting. So, all right. So next on the list of things is our liberal meltdown of the week segment. Here we go. So I did a couple weeks ago. I did this meltdown here, and it was done to some music. Well, this is another part of the video where it does the music. All right, so ready? I'm gonna start this thing off here. Look at his face. Why would you kick your TV? He's spitting everywhere. There's our guy again. He's in a bunch of videos. I think he likes doing it.
I think he does.
My favorite one.
That one's classic.
Classic. There's your mental health right there.
Got a good heavy metal scream, though.
Yeah, it does.
Right.
Like, this is awesome, man, for the video.
Right. He or she could be in a band or something, you know?
I'm so sorry.
I am so sorry to my world. This is not what we want. There's so much potential.
I like how he brings it down.
A little breakdown, yeah.
In this one moment, it's just almost incomprehensible that they can exist right now. So
Wow.
He hit it perfect.
I can't believe Charles are actually going to win this fucking thing. Jesus Christ, I'm so pissed off.
Oh, God.
Damn, titties.
Speaking of that, Rob Reiner's in the news.
Oh, yeah.
Bad time.
Yeah. All right, guys. Oh, that was good. That was awesome.
Okay.
Whew. All right.
Ooh, that was
It is a little loud in our
a
headphones,
bit much.
but it's funny as hell, though. But yeah. Did you? Yeah, Rob Reiner died, and Dick Van Dyke turned 100 years old.
Yeah.
He passed away, or
No, he's
No,
still.
he's still
Dick
kicking.
Van Dyke. He's
Well,
out in his yard doing
that's
yoga.
what I thought. I just read an article about how he sings and dances a lot with
Yeah.
his wife, and he always, there's a positive guy right there.
I like him.
He's got a
yeah.
positive guy. I like his. He's always been positive guy.
Yeah.
Good for America. But I'm glad. Happy birthday, Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of his
Yeah.
stuff.
So before we introduce you and you learn a lot about Mr. McGee here, we got to get into it real quick to our sponsor, the NCBAA.
Thank you guys at the NCBAA for supporting us and what you
Absolutely.
do for the Bell Agents across North Carolina.
Absolutely. I talked to not Christy. I talked to Julie.
Henderson.
Yeah. I talked to her a few days ago, and they're about to set in stone the conference where it's going to be at here very soon. So right now it looks like it's going to be
Okay.
here. So it's going to be awesome.
All right.
And
Maybe we'll pop up and do another podcast.
oh yeah, we don't worry, we are, and the band's playing, so that's
Oh.
going to be fun. Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be it's like going to be like a country at the beach type theme, I think. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. All right, so Mr. McGee here owns McGee Law Firm, and how long you how'd you start? Where'd you go to school at, and all that good stuff? You take us down that path.
I went to UNCW. Go Seahawks! 10-1 basketball. You go out to the games. We need your support, especially during the holidays. The students go home, but we seem to pack it. Even during the holidays, during Thanksgiving. Big supporter of the Seahawks, so go Hawks.
Yeah.
And you'll see me, my wife, and kids. We always go to the games and give support. I know UNCW supports a lot of stuff in the community. A lot of the stuff, I think I saw them out at Jimmy's bike drive and all that. He does a good thing.
Oh,
there.
yeah, I saw that.
And but yeah, UNCW. I went there for undergrad. I was a marketing major there. Then I decided I wanted to stay in Wilmington. I wanted to help people, and I went to Campbell University, the Camels, which we're in the CAA too, so I don't lose when we play each other. But anyways, I went to Campbell Law School, and I always wanted to start my own law firm, and that's what I wanted to do, and I did that, I want to say, in 2001, and been doing it ever since, and trying to help people, and really have focused a lot on driving while impaired cases because we are a place that is, we have a college here, and we have a lot of people that come on vacation. I try to keep them off of probation. That's one thing
Yeah,
I always
right.
do.
That was our little saying.
And we got a lot of young professionals and stuff, and I always loved Wilmington and the beach. I've been at Wrightsville Beach for a majority of my life.
Is it true that Wilmington is the #1 hotspot in North Carolina for DWIs?
I would say we are probably the #1. If you did the numbers and for population, we would be the bigger riders here. You State Highway Patrol is very active here because if you kind of think about it in scheme of things, Market Street is 117, and then the highway troopers, the highway patrol, they patrol that, and they may investigate a speeding or an accident, and
They're busy.
they smell alcohol, and then the discussion gets out there, and possibly they have a DWI arrest. Then you have they also work college. College Road is Highway 40, and that's a highway that goes to Carolina Beach. And then you have 74, 76 that goes through Wrightsville Beach. So you will see a lot of lot more patrol in Wilmington because you got the highway patrol that is active there, and you have the city beach beach patrols at Carolina Beach and Wrightsville Beach, and
they're
then
tough.
you also have the county that also goes to the beaches, and they help work a lot of. We do a lot of cases at the beaches where people are underage drinking or what have you, and or a fight at the bars, and they will a lot of times have the county patrolling Wrightsville Beach to help out at night late with issues there that they have and crowd control, because the beach only has so many police officers, and they have to kind of go, do the roads at night and all that, because we get a lot of visitors every summer at the beach. So,
all right.
your little place becomes a big place in the summertime.
Explain to us after. All right, so explain to us. I'm gonna do like a 2-part thing here. How the step is from going from a DWI when you get stopped, and then what you should do during the stop. Tell the audience.
Well, here's what's different about a driving while impaired case. It is legal in North Carolina for you to go have a drink at a wedding or dinner or what have you, or a friend's house, and then drive down the road. But it is not legal if you are appreciably impaired your mental or physical faculties. Okay, appreciable is this word that the laws come up with, and it means recognizable.
Right.
Okay, and so they're not looking at you falling out of the car, but they're looking at have you lost the normal function of your mental or physical faculties, and that's what they're. So these tests that a lot of times, and that we'll get into that, the tests are trying to show, the officer's trying to say, hey, look, this isn't normal. This is what he's doing here. I've got these certain clues. I have probable cause or a fair probability he could have committed the crime of driving while impaired. The first thing when somebody comes to my office, and I always recommend, get somebody who knows what they're doing this, that has the experience, that's going to talk to you, have you come in. I like to have them come in if they're local. And one of the things is we got to find out, what is the story? What happened? The good thing out there now is there are police videos. There are driving while impaired reports that are written by these police officers. And that's the one thing that we're going to try to get and kind of try to figure out what happened. The one thing with the DWI, that for the officer to pull you over or investigate something, they have to have reasonable suspicion that you have violated a Chapter 20 offense. So if your registration's out and you haven't got it fixed in a couple months, and you've gone out there having a couple beers, you get pulled out. They can pull you over for that.
That's
okay?
dumb.
All right. You haven't paid your insurance. These police officers nowadays, they have software that can run your tag, and they can find out, he's revoked or what have you, and then pull you over. So, so that's one thing. They just have to have reasonable suspicion. We're not a probable cause state. We're a reasonable suspicion, which is just a little more than a hunch that you've done something that has broken a traffic law. Once they do have you pulled over, one thing that officers are always looking for in a DWI is, how quickly do you stop for them? Do you go a mile down the road? Do you pull over in a reasonable fashion? If you're getting pulled over by a police officer and had something to drink, pull over to the right-hand side. Don't go and change 2 lanes, go over to the left-hand side, stay in the middle of the road. They're looking like, he stayed in the turn lane. He could have just gone into the Scotchman over there and gotten everybody off the road and had an encounter, right? First thing they're going to do, they're going to come up, they're going to ask you for your driver's license. I always say a first divided attention test, if they do ask for driver's license and your registration, they're asking for 2 things held in 2 different positions. You want to get that down and right, because you fumble your driver's license or something, then the conversation starts, hey, I want to get you out of the car or what have you, and start asking about things.
Right.
They're always going to ask you, I smell alcohol, and you've been drinking. That's where it gets a little iffy. No good answer to, have I been drinking or right?
Yeah, I went through.
But it is legal to have something. You could say, yes, I did, but am I free to leave? I think that would be a good question. I haven't done anything wrong. Am I free to leave?
Yeah, I went through a roadblock one time, and the guy, it was State Highway Patrol not too long ago, a couple years ago, and he goes, hey, sir, I already had my stuff ready, and I hadn't been drinking.
Yeah.
But they were looking for it because it was getting a little bit late, and I handed him my stuff. He goes, where are you coming from? I'm like, the jail. And he goes, what for? I said, I'm a Bosman. He goes, where are you going? I said, home. He goes, where's home? I was like, on that driver's license it says right there. That's on Swampblade. Right around the corner. That's where I'm going. And he was like, all right, have a good night.
Right.
He was like, he was not nice.
Well, and the majority of our folks here, I will say, we have great law enforcement around here. They're good to work with. You've got a lot of officers. You're always going to have, unfortunately, you could have one bad egg. But if you're hiring, 800 people to be on the sheriff's department, I mean, they do their best to get all good people.
And
that's what they do.
Also, how many people have been smartasses to them, over the over a period of time that they've had to deal with. Same thing with the jail. It's like,
people, and Rob can be a smartass. There may be a little more to that story.
Right. Yeah.
No. But I mean, one thing, and we were talking about police officers being able to actually come and have an encounter with. One thing that was around that I had a ton of before, which we don't really have anymore, is checkpoint. There aren't a lot of checkpoints.
Yeah.
There's not. The Booze It and Lose It bus, I think, was up in Jacksonville, and my friend, he used to run that, and I think he quit with them, and I think they're looking for somebody to run that. I think they had to jump the battery on it. It hadn't been used in so long, but that's one thing that should probably be out there sometimes, because you want your family safe and all that.
Right. It's the holidays,
but you do, but that's one thing that if you have a valid checkpoint, that is one way that the police can encounter an individual and they've done nothing wrong.
Right.
Okay. I like those cases because I always thought they need to show a little more to have probable cause to arrest somebody. And that's the second kind of part of a DWI. You always talk about, can they pull you over? Then you kind of talk about, does that officer have probable cause to arrest you? And they're going to ask you the questions. You do not have to do those tests. I think you'd be crazy to give them some kind of evidence by doing the one-leg stand or the walk and turn test or the eye test. I mean, I've given them 1,000,000 times in my office. I put my foot down, give them the instruction. I think I have pretty good balance, and I've messed up. And they're looking for these nitpicky things because they're really getting you in an awkward position.
I think I know what Chad's about to say.
That sets you up to fail.
It's something. It's just something that struck me while you were saying that. And I remember Wild Bill.
Bill Paraguay.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know he's back in? He's working for the DA's office.
What? Now.
Yeah, in Lumberton.
No, he's a PD's office. He's doing death penalty.
Yeah, in Lumberton.
Oh, really?
He's busy.
Well, I remember a long time ago he talked about DWIs, and he said that whole thing they have you go through, those are not normal movements of a human body.
No.
So that was kind of like his spiel to show that you're asking me to do something that my body's not naturally doing. Well,
a good example would be they have you do the walk and turn. You have to have your arms by your side, your right foot in front of your left foot, and you get in this instruction stage, and then you're to do heel to toe for 9 steps. Do this turn that's different, like keeping your foot on a little set of small steps, and you return. However, let's talk about the guy who walked across the Grand Canyon. Remember that guy? He had the elk skin boots. Yeah. He was not going heel to toe. He had a pole or some kind of stick out there with his arms like this, so he could balance and walk across it. He wasn't going heel to toe with his arms by side. If he would have done that, he would have fallen to his death.
Right.
So that is one thing they put you on that. In 1981 in California, a psychologist, Margaret Burns, came up with these tests. I mean, I come from a background. My granddad grew up Mount Olive, and then he went. He had he went to med school, and Carolina didn't even have a med school, and he would die if he heard you do these tests, and we can determine if you got mental or physical faculties. I mean, this really doesn't make sense. You've got people that are holding their leg up for 30 seconds with their arms by their side. Blue lights are going on, all that. We're in Wilmington. It's blowing, it's raining, and whatever. It's
Traffic,
hot, whatever.
traffic's hot.
Or better yet, you're in Wilmington or one of the beach communities. You're in flip flops.
Yeah,
85% of the year. Or I am when I'm not in the suit.
Right.
So you're doing the test in flip flops, or you're going barefoot.
Yeah.
But there's people that are they could be overweight or knee problems or things like that. Or we're in an older community now, and you've got somebody that's 70. I mean, the DWIs that I have are not just 21-year-olds. I have from 81 years old to 16 that are charged with DWI. I don't just represent a bunch of college kids. The majority of my clients would probably be in that 30 to 50 range, to be honest with you. So a lot of it people wouldn't realize. But getting back to the test, you don't have to do them. They're not going to ask you like, "Hey, Chad, by the way, do you got any knee, ankle problem?" There's one little thing. Do you think you'll be able to do it? You got a back or knee problem. It's a real quick question. Can you do the test?
Right.
Well, I think I can, but the biggie is if hey, look, my knees are shot, my ankle's shot. I just ran 10 miles. Or I just did, went and did leg lifts over there or whatever exercise somebody may have done or did CrossFit. And, I can't do the test. I said, am I free to leave? I don't think I've done anything wrong. And be polite and cooperative. I mean, that's
the biggest thing.
There you go.
You see the videos and respect people give, and you watch the video on the liberal thing. I mean, people need to have respect for people. I mean,
right. Well, that's the problem nowadays. Nobody has that no more.
Yeah, there's so much social media posts about people. I just saw some lady had a card. I guess she had it pre-written because she was going to have problems. She just stuck it on her glass, as directions for the police officer.
There's a way to handle that. You don't do that. These guys are doing their job. They're they work hard. They save a lot of lives, and they're asking questions. You do not have to give evidence against yourself. And that's one thing you can say. Look, I don't feel comfortable doing the test, or I would like to have an attorney there. They say you can't have an attorney there, and just say, look, I would have rather had an attorney, or maybe my husband or wife or girlfriend or friend see this happening, and go on with it there. That gives me something to work with. Once you start doing the walk and turn and one-legged stand, and then we watch the video and we're like, man, how am I going to defend that? That becomes a lot harder because they're looking for 2 or more clues on these tests that I could give both you guys here today. And you could, I could definitely point out possible enough clues that you could be over an 08. And that doesn't make sense because you guys haven't drank.
Man,
before.
I don't play around in this town. Like, if like me and Heather go out for dinner or something, I might have like 1 or 2 beers, and that is it with dinner. Because I'm literally petrified of getting one because I know, because we do it, we get them people out all the time, and people make mistakes. Okay, it sucks, and then I see them come to you, and then like with all the money that they have to spend to get it done, it's like the insurance, it just ain't worth it, man. So please take a $20 or $30 Uber ride home. It's not that hard. And I think Jimmy would agree with you too, because he don't want to be, but shit happens.
One thing I think that the world is not, where we keep talking about educating people,
right?
Help is not. They're not educated about what's out there. I mean, when Chad and I were probably drinking, when they came up with the ice house. Oh my, there's an ice house.
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
The ice house is probably like a 5.2 or something. It'd be Mickey Mouse and the whatever level, whatever percentage. Nowadays, you got all these IPAs that are 7 point something. I mean, they have 10 point something.
Yeah.
And people don't, they're like, man, I just had like, 4 tropical lightnings or something. I'm like, wow, that's like,
you know what? That tropical lightning, it tastes like a really bad sock.
What do you think about these?
Good. That guy, his kid goes to our school, but in the class,
I don't like it.
I think it's a good beer. He's got it. You made me need turtle time. They got a slower, lower octane, probably less, that taste. But one thing that it's not just beer.
Yeah. What about these THC drinks? What do you think of those?
That's an issue too, but. You had wine. So a lot of folks, the wine craze was out there, and they're like, I just had like 3 glasses of wine. Well, wine's 14%. I mean, that's like you had a 6-pack, And and by the way, you have a female that says I weigh 110 pounds. I'm like, you're 3 touchdowns down by the time you go on that breathalyzer. You know what I mean? Right. It's not like me at 200 pounds blowing in there and had that. So a lot of that is the education out there. They see that NHTSA commercial that's out there where the guy gets pulled over and he rolls his window down and it looks like he consumed all of Jimmy's down at Wrightsville Beach. You know what I mean? It looks like the whole keg comes out of the car. It's not. There are all these percentages that you have out there in what you can drink. And then you go to the THC stuff. What they have out there now is you have different officers and the different agencies, they'll send somebody to be a drug recognition evaluator.
Like specialist?
DRE. He'll first have to go to A-Ride for a weekend, then he goes to school for a week, and he is like trying to figure out what you were on, and they do this test, and they check you in the dark light and all that, and they check your pupils and all this stuff. We are in that age where I worry more about what do people say? You told this guy you took a benzo or something like that. That you're telling him you're breaking the law. You're telling him you took some kind of Xanax or something like that. We do have a law where if you had any opiates in your blood, that's per se enough for guilty of DWI.
Right.
So that's an issue. But you're talking about THC and some of these other things. The tests were really out there, these walk and turn, one leg stand and everything, to try to find somebody that's under the influence of alcohol. They've come up with some things trying to say somebody's under the influence of marijuana or other things. I think that's the harder thing to prove. I think marijuana because
if they got a big old bag of Chick-fil-A in their car.
I mean, they a lot of times the blood test would just say marijuana or whatever, and then I remember when John Carroll would say, well, the federal, and he was a judge that passed away, was a good friend of mine, would be, I think the federal law, he was federal judge and prosecutor over there, was like 14 nanograms or something. That was the standard they would try to say if somebody was impaired by marijuana.
But what about if, you got these people who smoke literally every day, like when at their home.
So that's where you look at appreciable impairment. You've got the argument, like you said, is Cheech and Chong. Depends who you got, right? Or Snoop Dogg. I don't think he's appreciably impaired. Right? He wakes up every day. You know what I mean?
He burns one. He's a Willie Nelson.
And that's the biggie too. And when did you take it? What'd you take? Did you eat today? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's those cases are all interesting. That's something I'm learning more and more about that I like to kind of hear about and study. And I'm always about trying to defend my client the best, and learn a lot. You learn a lot of stuff that I never thought it would.
But I tell you what, I know Chad and myself. I can speak for both of us that we have both learned a lot from you over the years. Mm-hmm. And so tell everybody at home and who's watching how they can get up with you, where you're at in Honolulu.
We are on Princess Street. We're at 218 Princess Street, and you could hit a sandwich to the courthouse. We're not very far away from the courthouse. We're right across from Truist Bank. We'd love to have you come by and see us. We just renovated our office, and friendly staff. Sometimes my dog's there too, so you can pet the dog. But we're at 218 Princess Street
in Wilmington,
and we service New Hanover, Pender, and Brunswick counties.
Okay.
and we do traffic, we do DWI, and all criminal offenses. And we do some personal injury stuff too. That's good to know because we deal a lot with all the police officers here in town. So,
well, Josh, you got working in your office, is a great guy. I've worked with him a few times, and he's young, smart, he's gung ho. So you got a good thing right there.
Well, we always try to thrive on on customer service, and that's why I kind of waited to hire Josh. I knew Josh would be great with the clients, and our clients mean a lot to us, and we doing this, what really brings me joy is sometimes I meet people in the worst time of their life when they've been charged with this, they're embarrassed and stuff. Later, when I see somebody out or somebody comes to my office and says, I want to thank you and I'm doing well, or I learn about their family. This is why I do this. This is, it's great to get to know people in this town. It's great to hear their stories and try to help people. And, we don't throw any stones at them or anything like that. We're here to help you. And we know it can be embarrassing. I mean, George Bush had a DWI, and supposedly Cheney had too. So, anybody could get a DWI. Hey, so it's, and we try to make them feel
shit happens.
There. Stuff
Shit happens.
That's right. Right.
We've met some really good people from DWIs and other charges too. But we have met some really good people that we bonded out.
Yeah, we always like to hear a success story that hey, something bad happened, but hey, look at you now.
And I want to point out that you guys are important to me. You guys, over the years, we've called you guys to go. Rob's done a lot of investigations for us. Where they'll talk to Rob, but they wouldn't talk to me in a tie because they're worried maybe I'm going to sue them or whatever. And Scotchman, and he's getting video.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, man,
that.
You probably want to be careful with it. Like, I'm giving him, knowing what he's got to do when he goes to court.
Right.
So it's helped out tremendously.
Right. So sometimes remember Matlock had his assistant that was so good. Well, Rob can be that guy. He's really good. So yeah, it's and the other part is these guys. If somebody says, "Hey, look, my friend has been arrested. He's getting ready to go in front of a magistrate," Chad and Rob are going to answer my text or call, and I trust these guys. They're going to show up at a first appearance. They're going to take care of you guys. I trust them, and that's what I like. Their customer service is always great. I've never had any complaints, and they're the guys I would call if I had a family member that needed help, and they're great.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
we back at you.
We really strive to be more professional than any other bondsman in North Carolina for sure.
I feel like we're always fighting the stereotype.
I know we are.
That's what drives me is that I don't like that stereotype.
Yeah, like we're just
but I know we serve a valuable service for what we do.
Like more chains and like gold rings and stuff like that.
Yeah, counting money. I hate that, man.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but
well,
you guys
Jimmy,
do a great job.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for coming on. We've been wanting to get you on for a while, and we finally got you here, and we appreciate you, Jimmy. And look, guys, you at home, you ever come down here to Wilmington, North Carolina, or Brunswick, or Pender, whatever nearby, you get in trouble, give this guy a call, Jimmy McGee.
You come down on vacation, you don't necessarily have to leave on probation.
Not if you got a good attorney.
Guy.
And it come by if you've heard this on the podcast or whatever. Come by at 218 Prince Street. We have some koozies. Our motto is "Don't get hammered in court." That's on there. McGee Law Firm.
I love it.
Give that to your friends. Share that with your friends. Be safe this holiday. Be safe. Have a great holiday. Enjoy your friends and family, but be safe.
When you go to that Christmas party, whatever you do, don't drive home. Don't do it. Just take that $30, $40.
If you've been drinking, that's right.
Yeah, if you've been drinking.
Not necessarily.
I do. Yeah. That's what I do. I Uber ride all day long.
Be safe out there, and if you need our help, we're there for you.
Absolutely. Jimmy, thank you for coming on again.
Thanks, Jimmy.
I appreciate it.
Guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys, if you like what you hear, you can see us on YouTube. Go and subscribe, and you can see Mr. McGee here and us, our pretty faces. yeah, we need all the help you can get, all the support you can get. We appreciate that. You know, right, Chad?
Right on, man. And we'll try to drop a link to his website on this episode to help him out and to help you out if you need his services. So,
absolutely. Well, until then, I'm Rob.
I'm Chad.
And this is Jimmy. All right, guys.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Off the Hook with Chad and Rob. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And be sure to follow us for notifications for another exciting episode. But in the meantime, you can go to our website at www.offthehookbail.com to see more. So until next time, stay out of trouble, or it'll be you that needs to get off the hook. See you soon.